Good evening and welcome to Dateline. Tonight on Dateline, we shall feature special reports on the penchant for greener pasture by Nigerian youth outside the shores of the country, especially those in the health sector, and the reasons the UK government placed Nigerian health workers on the red list. We shall also bring to you a special report on the growing political crisis in Sudan, which has claimed over 500 lives and left many injured. Despite the intervention of the UN, the crisis is still on. This will come your way today on Dateline after the hard news segment. My name is Oluchi Amuda. Once again, welcome to Dateline. The federal government has announced a review of the import adjustments task as part of the implementation of the Economic Community of West African States Common External Tariff 2022 to 2026, thereby raising tariffs on importation of rice, wheat, alcohol, among 189 items. The Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, stated this in a document titled Revised Import Adjustment Tax for Implementation of ECOWAS 2023 Fiscal Policy Measures. Mrs. Ahmed had last year issued a circular communicating that President Muhammad Buhari has approved implementation of the 2022 fiscal policy measures, which comprise supplementary protection measures for the enforcement of the Economic Community of West African States Common External Tariff, and excise duties on goods such as non-alcoholic beverages, cigarettes, and tobacco products, and telecommunication services with effect from the 1st of April last year. The 2023 revised document raised tariff of rice packing of more than 5 kg or bulk in a packing of 5 kg or less to 60% from 50%. Similarly, importation of wheat or muslin flour now attracts 70% tariffs as against 50% in 2022 to 2026, ECOWAS set. Meanwhile, former governor of Kano State and candidate of the New Nigerian People Party in the last presidential election, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, has disclosed that the incoming administration of Abba Kabir Yusuf of Kano State governor-elect will revisit the dethronement of Sanusi Lamido Sanusi as Emir of Kano. Recall that Sanusi, who was installed by Kwankwaso during his tenure as governor, was removed in March 2020 and banished from Kano by Governor Omar Ganduje to a village called Loko in Nasarawa State. Aside from dethroning the former governor of Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN), the outgoing administration of Governor Omar Ganduje also split the emirate into 5 and appointed emirs for them. Meanwhile, Ganduje, while speaking at a book presentation on former President Goodluck Jonathan, had disclosed that he did not regret dethroning Sanusi, stating that his decision was in a bid to save the system and the traditional institution from abuse. But Kwankwaso, while speaking in a viral video, noted that the dethronement was, and also balkanization of the Emirates, would be reviewed by the incoming government. Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke has assured that his administration will not leave any section of the state out in the delivery of good governance. Governor Adeleke gave the assurance while addressing the people during the honorary award program at Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Ogbomoso, Oyo State. Governor's office correspondent Abdulrahim Adekineko has the details.
The arrival of Osun State Governor Senator Ademola Adeleke into the amphitheater of Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Ogbomoso, was greeted with a loud ovation as the academic gathering was rented with a chorus of Imale. Speaking to newsmen, the governor said the university conferred honorary awards on deserving Nigerians who have made their marks in both public and private lives, saying that individuals must continue to make positive impacts on the lives of people around them. Governor Adeleke lauded the first alumnus of the university to be so awarded honorary doctorate degree in business administration, Prince Tayo Adiatu, for the great feat which he said was as a result of hard work, generosity and purpose-driven lifestyle.
One of my little brother, Tayo Adiachu. They honor him on the doctoral degree on business administration. So that's why, you know, because he's been giving back to the society. And I always like to encourage such people. That's why I'm here today.
Also receiving the leadership of the National Association of Osun State Students, NAOS, Governor Ademola Adeleke assured the students that his administration will not leave any section of the state out in the delivery of good governance that he swore to deliver. The students, who were happy to receive the governor in their midst, were full of appreciation as they request the governor to see to the agreement reached between the governments of Oyo and Osun State, which is now denying them of some benefits that they either to enjoy in the institution. Apart from the students, indigenes of Osun State that are resident in Ogbomoso, including those from Ede, the governor's hometown, also stormed the venue with talking drummers to register their appreciation for the governor amidst pomp and pageantry.
Of all Osun State students in LAUTECH, we welcome you, our governor, to this great center of learning, LAUTECH Capital University of Technology, LAUTECH. And also, the students of Osun State in LAUTECH have a lot of requests from the governor. The number one is the welfareism of the students, all Osun State students in LAUTECH, through the state government bursary and some scholarship. And again, for the past 3 years, the students and the staff of LAUTECH have been facing some challenges in the university since the sole ownership of Oyo State and Osun State. Till now, we don't know the agreement between the Oyo State government and Osun State government. We have lost the indigenous rights of Osun State. For the past 2 years, Osun State is now paying a non-religion tuition fee. We want you, Your Excellency, sir, to help us to review the agreement.
It has been Abdurrahim Adekileku reporting.
Of the Osun State Governor, Mrs. Titilola Adeleke, has commended the members of Deaf Women Association for striving to achieve their goals in life without allowing their challenges to pose as hindrance. Mrs. Adeleke gave the commendation at a summit organized by the group to commemorate the International Women's Day and assured them that the present administration remains committed towards the support of people with disabilities. Members of the Deaf Women Association in Osun State converged on the Deaf Development Center Testing Ground area Ushubu for the second edition of the group summit organized to mark the 2023 International Women's Day with the theme Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality, Embrace Equality. In her remarks at the event, wife of the governor, Mrs. Titilola Adeleke, expressed delight to be part of the program aimed at celebrating the women folk, as she commended members of the group for striving so hard to live above their challenges and make meaningful impacts in society. Mrs. Adeleke noted that the present administration has remained committed towards the delivery of dividends of democracy to the people without discrimination. As she assured the group of more support, she equally appealed to well-meaning individuals in Osun State and beyond to support the association through empowerment for them to remain useful to themselves and society at large, adding that government alone cannot do it all.
I love women who work. We are the mother, and we give birth to children, and we appreciate our husbands. I thank you for your initiative that you said you don't want to be on the street again. You need assistance. I try my own possible best to my own capacity. And I want to use this opportunity to speak with the corporate world, the individuals, that we have to assist our sisters.
Earlier in her address of welcome, Chairperson of Osun State Deaf Women Association, Mrs. Rashidat Lawal, was full of appreciation to Mrs. Titilola Adeleke for honoring their invitation, describing it as unprecedented. She noted that the theme of the event, which is Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality, Embrace Equality, is very apt as it highlights the need to ensure that the peculiar needs of deaf women are taken into consideration and integrated into all technological innovation intervention programs at the federal, state, and local government levels.
There is no gainsaying in the fact that women, especially deaf women, need to be fully carried along in our collective efforts to ensure technical innovation for all. To achieve this, all hands should be on desk to run an all-inclusive program, top policy trust by ensuring that the peculiar
In their separate remarks at the event, Chairman Osun State Deaf Association, Mr. Jalil Adekileku, and the representative of Jonapid, Mrs. Omotola Ishola, expressed appreciation to Governor Ademola Adeleke for the life-changing policies of his administration, just as they appealed to the wife of the governor to help table all their requests before the governor. The event climaxed with the distribution of empowerment items such as sewing machines and grinding machines to some members of the group. The beneficiaries were full of gratitude to Mrs. Titilola Adeleke for her kind gesture and show of love. Meanwhile, the Assistant Inspector General of Police on 11, Mr. Sikiru Akonde, has described as rumor the threat by a group to hinder the swearing-in of new president in the country come May 29, saying the gesture is a political gimmick which cannot stand the test of time in the palaces of security architecture put in place by the police force. The IG, who commended the acts of Osun and Oyo State's police force for their proactive strides in checkmating lawlessness, urged the populace to furnish the police with vital information and decorum instead of trying to bribe them.
The government of the day. Let us push that the 3 tiers of government should be working effectively. The moment the 3 tiers of government are working effectively, issues of security will be a thing of the past. And with the caliber of police officers that we have now, who are ready to sacrifice anything to make sure that the land is peaceful, if you are not well brought up, there's nothing you can do, no matter what position God gave you. But if you are well brought up, you will not do anything that is against the law. Is it lawful what they are doing? If it is not lawful, then it means they are doing the wrong thing. And if they are caught, they are dealt with. If there is any organization in Nigeria that is self-controlling, that is always taking care of the wrongdoers, it is the Nigerian police force.
Exploring the power in the Eucharistic service as a clarion call to all leaders and members of the Anglican community on the need to pay attention and display total obedience to the Word of God, Bishop of Oke-Osun Anglican Diocese, Right Reverend Oluwagbemiro Fabuluje, stated this at the Thanksgiving service of the 3rd session of the 12th Synod of the Diocese of Osun Anglican Communion held at All Saints Cathedral, Balogun Agoro, Osogbo. Oluwatobiloba Ojonoga has the details.
This was the mood of people of the Diocese of Osun Anglican Communion as the All Saints Cathedral Balogun Agoro Osogbo again played host to leaders, delegates and members of the Diocese of Osun Anglican Communion who converged on the church for the Thanksgiving service of the 3rd session of the 12th Synod of Anglican Communion. In a sermon on the topic Anglican Spirituality, exploring the power of the Eucharistic service, Bishop of Oke-Osun Anglican Diocese, Right Reverend Oluwagbemiro Fabuluje, urged the leaders and members of the Anglican Communion to not take the sacrament of Holy Communion and Baptism with levity, noting that it remains the doctrine of the Anglican Communion. He added that there is need for all leaders of the Anglican Communion to maintain the laid down doctrine and liturgy of the communion in the course of their teachings and in their daily services to God.
Member of the Anglican Church, we must endeavor to yield our all in all to Christ, surrender all to Him, be born of God. I don't want to use the word born again because the word born again has the bastardized. But in 1 John chapter 5 it says, be born of God, born of God. Know what you are holding on to, and always examine yourself if you are in the faith.
In his remarks, the diocesan bishop of the Diocese of Osun Anglican Communion, who doubled as the president of the synod, Right Reverend Folusha Obatunji, appreciated God for the success of the 3rd session of the 12th Synod, while also appreciating the host cathedral and all members of the Diocese of Osun Anglican Communion who made the 2023 Synod a success. He admonished all leaders, delegates and members of the Diocese of Osun Anglican Communion to always use the old knowledge they have garnered during the 3rd session of the 12th Synod at every point in time to the glory of God, the progress of the Church, and that of the humanity. Also in his remarks, the Dean of St. Cathedral, Venerable Moses Ojo expressed his profound gratitude to God who gave the cathedral the opportunity to host the third session of the 12th Synod, while extending his appreciation to the President of the Synod, Right Reverend Folusho Babatunji, and everyone who have contributed to the progress and success of the 2023 Synod.
My appreciation goes to God Almighty, the giver of life, the only protector of time, and one and only who has embarked us on for the hosting of this year. I only explain that to those who have spoken, as fathers and mothers for.
The Thanksgiving service saw the preferment of Reverend Canon Bamigboye as the Archbishop of Oshogbo West Archdeaconry, as well as preferment of Honorary Canon on Reverend David Tanimowo, among others. The service climaxed with thanksgiving of the church in appreciation for God's faithfulness, followed by the handing over of the Nigerian flag, Church of Nigerian flag, Boys Brigade and Girls Guild flags to the brigaders, marking the closing ceremony of the third session of the 12th Synod. Oluwa Tobiloba Odunuga, Osbc News.
A Catholic priest, Reverend Father Michael Osamuha, who was kidnapped recently, has regained his freedom from his abductors. Osamuha of St. Paul's Catholic Church Parish, Oshu, in Isiala Mbano local government area of Imo State, was kidnapped recently. One of his parishioners, Chinedu Suji, confirmed that the cleric has been freed. He thanked everybody for the roles they played in the priest regaining his freedom from his abductors. The chairman, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri-Erewa, has said the mission in Egypt was making arrangements for the payment of visa fees for stranded Nigerians at the border of the country. The federal government had called on relevant authorities along the borders of Sudan to create a humane condition for about 7,000 nationals, including Nigerians, to have unfettered access to their various destinations. Dabiri-Erewa, who made the call, said the nationals were not being allowed to cross the border into Egypt since their arrival. However, giving updates on the stranded Nigerians at the Egypt border, Dabiri-Erewa said the mission has made the arrangement to pay $9 per person and $25 visa fee, adding that within Egypt itself, one cannot travel from one region to another without an exit permit. Meanwhile, the African Union has been asked to wade into the conflict in Sudan in order to achieve a lasting peace in the country. A media aide to Governor Ademola Adeleke, Mr. Shola gave the advice after featuring an Osbc TV weekly magazine program, Saturday Morning Treat. Mr. Shola explained that the organization should bring the two warring factions to table and engage them in ensuring that peace is brokered. He then called on the Nigerian government to speedily do the needful for the stranded Nigerians in the country to have a relief. Apologize for that technical hitch there. You are welcome to our sports segment. The Nigerian Football Federation has stated its resolve to install video assistant referee in all regional stadia across the country. The chairman of the federation, Malam Ibrahim Gusau, made the announcement in a message during the election of new executive of the Nigerian Referee Association. Babatunde Bolatito now reports.
A retired FIFA badge referee, Sani Zubair, has been elected as the new president of the Nigeria Referees Association, taking over from Tade Aziz. Report says Zubair was elected in the lorry after he polled 53 votes from the available 54 accredited delegates to beat Daniel Odloko. NRA's former Publicity Secretary Kelechi Mejuobi was elected as the new national deputy president with 43 votes to beat David Ego, scored 10 votes. The duo of Emmanuel Imiere and Ibrahim Fage were elected unopposed as National Vice President 1 and National Vice President 2, respectively, at the elective Congress. Suleiman Omeza emerged unopposed as the Secretary General of the association, just as his deputy, Ashikazim Nicholas, emerged unopposed. Fidelis Akinyemi also got elected unopposed into the office of Assistant Secretary General. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Football Federation has concluded arrangement to install video assistant referee in regional stadium in the country as plans are underway to train and refrain referees to achieve the purpose. President of the Federation, Malam Ibrahim Gusso, stated this in the Lorry, represented by NFF official Malam Mohammed Aminu. He charged the incoming leadership of the association to come up with development plan to forecast, organize and ensure the future of Nigeria referee is properly nurtured and watered towards the growth of the game, while reiterating the unflinching support of the NFF to NRA in their quest to change the face of football in the country. Gusso said installation of VAR is the growth and development of football. For Osbc News, I am Babatunde Bolatito reporting.
And on the foreign scene, warplanes on Burmese raids drew heavy fire over Khartoum as fighting between Sudan's army and paramilitaries entered a third week, with the United Nations chief warning the country was falling apart. More than 500 people have been killed since the battles erupted in April 15 between the forces of Army Chief Abdel Fattah Baham and his former number 2 Mohammed Daglo, who commands the paramilitary rapid support forces. They have agreed to multiple truces, but none has taken hold, as the number of dead civilians continues to rise and chaos and lawlessness grip the capital city of 5 million people, where many have been cloistered in their homes, lacking food, water and electricity. Tens of thousands have been uprooted within Sudan or embarked on trips to neighboring Chad, Egypt, South Sudan or Ethiopia to flee the battles. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said there is no right to go on fighting for power when the country is falling apart. The latest 3-day ceasefire, which expired this morning, was agreed after mediation led by the United States, Saudi Arabia, and the African Union, the United Nations. We now go on a break. Dateline continues shortly. You are welcome back to Dateline proper. Nigeria, unarguably the giant of Africa, is blessed with human and natural resources which is known all over the world. What could have been responsible for the mass immigration of Nigeria-trained medical experts to the United Kingdom and other parts of the world, which led to the country being placed on red lists of countries that should not be targeted for recruitment in the UK? In this Dateline report, Oluwatobiloba Odunuga takes a look at the reasons and effects of this on the Nigerian health sector.
News that Nigeria is losing a significant portion of its health workers to brain drain. According to reports, in November 2021, 8,983 Nigerian trained doctors were working in the United Kingdom. Another 727 were licensed in 5 months between December 2021 and April 2022, bringing its total to 9,710, with at least 12 Nigerian doctors employed in the United Kingdom every week. In addition, about 3,895 Nigerian educated doctors are licensed to practice medicine in the United States as of 2020, with Nigerians accounting for about 1 in 50 of all licensed physicians who were international medical graduates. Analysts believe people migrate from their country of origin due to reasons which could range from economic, health, social, education and security reasons, among others. According to a medical practitioner, Dr. Kayode Oguniyi, medical brain drain in Nigeria deserves critical attention due to its adverse effect on the healthcare system for a developing nation, which indirectly impacts population health outcomes and creates greater inequity among vulnerable populations of the country. Dr. Oguniyi lamented on the poor treatment of medical staffs in Nigeria, which made it necessary for them to seek for greener pasture elsewhere, adding that if the country is safe and conducive for them to practice, they will not leave the country.
So people who go out of Nigeria, it's not only because of money. A lot of people left because of security challenges. A lot of people left because of remuneration. A lot of people left because of inflation rate. A lot of people left because of energy situation in Nigeria. So these are the areas that the government should address. What are the reasons for brain drain? And address, and some of the reasons are the one I'm highlighting.
Meanwhile, the international and internal migration of medical doctors in Nigeria has created a great challenge for public health system. It worsens already weak healthcare systems, which widens the health inequalities gap worldwide. Recall that the World Health Organization (WHO) on the 8th of March this year listed Nigeria and other 54 countries as facing the most pressing health workforce challenges related to universal health coverage. However, the Code of Practice for the International Recruitment of Health and Social Care Personnel in England, recently updated, had Nigeria returned to the red list countries, which means no active recruitment is permitted. This comes amid a public outcry about brain drain in Nigeria's health institution, as several medical doctors and other health workers have migrated to the United Kingdom and other parts of the world in search for better jobs rather than practicing at home. As part of the effort of the Nigerian government to reverse this trend, the House of Representatives has passed for second reading a Medical and Dental Practitioners Act Amendment Bill 2022, which seeks to make it compulsory for graduates in medical and dental fields to render services within Nigeria for 5 years before being granted full license to practice by the council in order to make quality health services available to Nigerians. Reacting to this development, with Dateline, Chief Wale Oyeniyi and Mr. Akin Oluwoye bemoaned the inability of Nigerian leaders to genuinely harness the human and natural resources of the country for the benefit of the citizenry, calling on the government to use its rich human and natural resources for the betterment of all.
In the first instance, it's against